Hi, my name is Linda Massey, and today we're going to do a floral project for the fall. I've loved my arts and crafts all my life, and fall is a really fun season to do colorful stuff. In saying that, my project, I'm going to be utilizing this vase because my theme, I wanted it to be on just being thankful. A vase like this is very neutral when it comes to if you want to adapt your centerpiece for the different seasons and stuff, depending on what you put in it. And on that note, when you first think about creating a floral centerpiece, you kind of want to think about basically, where do I want to put it? What size do I want? Is it going to be even a gift? Or if it's at home, is it going to be transitional where I can change it as the season goes? Or do I want it permanent? All of those factors play into how you want to create your centerpiece. Like I said, I use this for my base for my centerpiece, but you have a whole lot of options. It's almost, there's, as far as your imagination goes. In this corner, I've got some examples of what you can use for your bases, and you don't have to go out and spend a whole lot of money on this, because this can be economical, fun, you just go with maybe what you have on hand, and that's cool. In regards to different items that you can use, even what you have around home, for the base of your centerpiece, it's as far as your imagination goes and what you have on hand. This one is just a flower vase, clear. I've even used a mason jar. You can use cups, mugs, basketry, which would be stuff like this, because in this style that I'll be doing, it basically will be like balloon shape per se. It's not going to be low and long, it's going to be upward. So stuff like this you can use even actually from the florist. As a base, I've even done wagons, which was really, really cute for the fall season. It's just odds and ends as far as specialty baskets that you can use. There's macrame and my good old pumpkin. But that could be a little further down the road, or it's fall, so pumpkins are cool any time of the fall. But that's just a small example of the bases that you can actually use for your centerpiece. So it's either whatever you have on hand, unless you have something in particular that you really want for a look. You can always go out. One of my favorite places to go to is the dollar store. It's cheap, it's local, it's all over the place, and you can pick up a lot of your supplies for your projects there without breaking the bank. So for today, like I said, this is going to be my project. I've decided this is probably going to be on, it wouldn't be appropriate for the kitchen table because you want to be able to see across the table and not have a floral arrangement in your face. So it'll probably be on a side table or a coffee table or wherever else in the house. Depending on how big it is, you could even have it as a corner display in your entranceway or in the corner of your living room. Again, it all depends on the purpose of your vase and what you want to do with it. So as far as supplies, now I've chosen my vase. I want to do a fall arrangement, and it's going to be transitional where I can play with it as the season goes along. So normally if you wanted something more permanent, what you would do is put a filler in there that would be able to hold your floral supplies in place. Some of the things that you can use, this being tight is not a problem, but tight as things will stay in place. But if you had something that was more open, then I would use like styrofoam as a good base to be able to plug in your floral pieces and whatnot. But in my case, I won't be needing that. I'm going to keep it simple and just plain old fun. As far as colors, obviously it's the fall colors. I want something with some contrast because my vase is very light. And so in doing that, my fall colors will be my leaves. And then I'll add some flowers to it, including this beautiful floral arrangement. Basically is the sunflowers, and as you can see, it goes really, really well with the vase. So we'll start in by, what do I want to put in my vase first? For me, I think I'm not a professional, but what I've done in the past is I put in my filler first, because that being done, when I put the center focus flowers and stuff, it'll stay where I put it. So first my fillers, I just put a few of them in there. And a hint in regards to tips, in regards to floral arrangements, you usually want things in odd numbers. That comes across more pleasing to the sight. And then, yeah, in my case, I want to consider height. So this is pretty much going to be the height of my centerpiece. I mean, that's even pretty as is, without even adding anything else to it, because it's got that colorful look. But I want some contrast. So in order to get that effect, I'm going to use 3 of these. And as you can see, they've got the lighter colors in it, which complements the vase itself. So again, the idea of odd numbers, 3, 1, if I can find the vase. I'll probably at some point have to go in the front and adjust things, but just to have a sense of, and believe you me, there's nothing perfect about this stuff. And even if something's a little off, if you like the way it looks, you're good to go. It's not a big deal, it really isn't. Unless you're really particular about it because it's for a special occasion and all that. And it's just a matter of tweaking things. Even after it's done, you can move things around a little bit. That's one of the charms of being able to do a vase that's not permanent, because then you can go back and move things around. I love my little sunflowers or cornflowers. I mean, there's a whole lot of different names for this stuff, but I'm gonna just move this back to me so I can see a little bit more what I'm doing. And my cornflowers, I'm going to add 1 in the front, and then some more cornflowers. So you can see my vase again, and a few on the sides. And it just naturally comes together in a pleasing way when you've got those odd numbers. Things just seem to balance the look out and stuff. I've never done this backwards, so you'll have to bear with me until I adjust things. And then, more is not always the best way to go. You keep it simple, you keep it on the lighter side. If you put too much stuff in there, then you lose the focus of your arrangement, because it's just a big blob of a lot of stuff. So we'll leave it at this for now, and then comes my little beauties here. I usually have all my tools on hand, and in this case I need like a wire cutter, and you have some scissors that actually have it built in that can use this little notch to cut this sort of thing with. I do have a little bit more commercialized tool here that cuts it in a snip. So this size of an arrangement, I'm probably just going to use 3 of these, because all of them would be a bit much. So that being said, I just clip, as easy as that. These are pretty nice to have. And that will really give it that nice contrasted look. These will be for another time. Set that aside. it's always good to have everything on hand when you start. Have a good idea of what you want, the tools that you're going to need, so your project goes along smoothly. And this one, put right there. If it's in an area that you can see all around it, then you probably want to even it out and consider the backside, what it's going to look like. If it's up against a wall or whatnot, then you kind of focus more on the front view of your centerpiece. So that being put there, in this case, it's probably going to go up against something. So I'll probably place things more like this. If by chance that you need more height, tricks to the trade, I've done this with, a second here, is just using these little skewers, wooden, and I add to my piece like this, and then I just use a little bit of floral tape and just anchor that right to my piece, and voila, you have yourself a taller floral piece to work with. And the green will just kind of hide it. If it's more visual, you can go all the way down this little stick here, but so it's not a big deal. It's like, uh-oh, my piece isn't long enough. It's kind of hiding in my centerpiece. This will give it that height that you want. Ta-da! Then you take your centerpiece, kind of give it the look over. I'm going to, and feel free to bend things and put them where you want them. It's no big deal, just have to put a little bit of elbow grease into it. And there, not too shabby. Didn't take very long. Of course, I have the advantage of a whole lot of supplies and stuff, but you go shop around. Like I said, the dollar store is excellent. The quickest way to do these centerpieces is just by picking up some of these bushes of florals. Sometimes you don't even have to clip them or anything. You just kind of spread them apart and plop them in there, and it's not really hard to do. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I've got all kinds of examples of stuff that I've done on a whim. Sorry if you can't hear me. But this was, like I said, just a vase. It was an old bowl that I had floating around, and I love my sunflowers. And voila, in no time at all. You can even do stuff like this walking down the road if you're happy and lucky enough to live out where there's some space. The wildflowers right now out there are beautiful. There is sunflowers, there is, well, now and then I think a bird probably helped with that. But stuff that you find alongside the road, and with basic principles of building a floral piece, it's free for the taking, and you get yourself an actual real flower centerpiece. I've got one sitting upstairs that is just, I love it. It's not a big deal. When I had spoke about the fact that I wanted a vase that I could use all year round, on that note, we're going to go from earlier fall, where things are a whole lot brighter, and our sunflowers, into later fall where it's harvest season. The colors are getting a little bit more dull and whatnot, and we're getting closer to Thanksgiving. So that being said, I'm going to remove some of these things and replace it with more appropriate stuff for the season. I'll start with my, I hate to take these out, they're so beautiful, but anyways, we'll start with our sunflowers. Remove those. I do plan at some point using these again for sure, because I really like that look. That. we can remove our cattails, even though that still could be the season, but we'll set that aside for now. Maybe I still will use them. So these very bright leaf bushes I'm removing. So it's almost at a point where I'm just going to redo with a few things that I had and add the new things that I want. I found some darker leafy bushes, not quite as bright as what we had. Again, the odd numbers are great. I've got 3. Set this aside. Actually, I'll pop that over here. My new bushes that I have, which I love pine cones. So that was a seller for me, but it's got the little pumpkins in it. And some pine cones, and you've got some of the berries that have been coming out and stuff. I like to kind of open it up a little bit, so that way it's just prettier and sits better. So I'll plop one in the middle. And again, I'm using my 3. So that one will be more in the front. This one on the side. It's more like 12 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock as far as positioning. But the bottom line is, do I like the way it looks? Does it kind of look balanced and pretty? And that pretty much is the decision maker. So I got my 3 pumpkins. Let me see. Again, you're going to be adjusting. 1, 2, 3. Move things around a little bit. If anything, I think I want it this way. Again, nothing's perfect, and you just get it where you want it, that it looks pretty. And 1, 2, and 3. I want you more over here. Now with the pumpkins in there, I want some contrast. We have a lot of almost the same kind of colors. These are a little bit lighter. That's a good thing to have. One of the supplies that I enjoy drying out and stuff, especially for stuff like this, is my corn husk, which basically I microwave, since there's only 2 people in the household to eat. I microwave my corn in the husk in wax paper, and when it comes out I peel it all apart and I let these guys dry, and lo and behold, you got all these free supplies in order to maybe use for whatever you want, whether it's wreaths or centerpieces. But going back to our little skewers, and in this case I'm going to use a lighter floral tape, which this is the actual floor tape, but if you don't have anything like that, use your masking tape. That's usually a common supply that we have hanging around the house. So I start the edge of that, take a few of these guys, and I like the tops because they're just kind of fun and whimsical. And I'm going to go with 3. You have to choose according to the size of your floral centerpiece. If this was a lot larger, then I'd make a larger bush with this. But with that, take my tape and start wrapping that around the base. Just go round and round, and don't you dare fall off. And this will be submerged in the in all the leaves and stuff, so you don't have to be too fussy in regards to what that looks like. Unless you're a perfectionist, well, in that case, go for it. Yeah. And this is one of, probably again use 3 in here to, and this will pick up that light base look. Then we'll do up another one. 1, 2, and 3. The pointed edge down. Not that I think it makes a whole lot of difference. It's just gonna anchor in there. And while you're doing that, think about what else do I want to maybe add to this, if anything. I happen to have the wording on the vase that really decorates the vase itself, since the theme is being thankful. And these guys decided they don't want any part of this. Go back, retape. If you tape it tight, hopefully nothing will fall out. Yeah. Let's see. 1, 2, and last but not least, 3 more of these bad boys. They probably would make great fire starters if you've set aside a few too many. Comes in handy. Or they can be arms or legs or something for a scarecrow arrangement. Actually, it's too bad I don't have that on hand, because I do have a whole box of little scarecrows. I mean, all kinds of different sizes actually. And a centerpiece like that, you could actually plop one right in the very top of it. That would look super cute. Okay. Again, this is something that didn't even cost you anything because you had it on hand. And you get that really pretty fall look without too much expense put into it. And depending on, you know, how you feel about the look and stuff, you probably could maybe even put some little short ones in the bottom. But no time at all, you got yourself another fall centerpiece with a little bit darker colors and your pumpkins as we get closer to Thanksgiving and whatnot. And depending on what you have around the house, you might even add a few more things to it if you want, but there's plenty in there. So there we go, one more different look. Well, now we're transitioning to Thanksgiving. Again, we're still using the same vase. I did find my little scarecrow for my earlier, the last presentation here. So we take him out, and at this point what I want to do is, since the season things are maturing and it's getting even duller, so we're seeing more dry stuff out in nature and whatnot. We do have the dry corn husk in there. I think I'm going to keep those. And I'm going to add some, just draw something, draw dry. I think it's wheat. I don't think it's oats. Oats is more seedy looking. So with this, I'm going to add 3 to be a helper to our corn husk. So I'll put that along each of the corn husk. I've taped, and I'll show you that, but which is again simple enough. If you don't have florist tape, use your masking tape, especially with the light material that we're working with. Yeah, I like that. And this one, I do have my tan florist tape, so that's what I'm going to use to wrap this. It was a larger bundle, and all I did is I just took it apart and made smaller ones. If it had been a larger arrangement, I would have kept it a bigger size. Okay, I'll put that behind this one. It's a good thing that the top of this vase is like a wide mouth, so be able to get that all in there. Then I wanted to use, actually I'm thinking this might be a little too big, so I'm going to use this skinnier one to top off my arrangement, and with a pair of utility scissors we can just cut messy stuff. Yep. There. And that can be in the very top. I did find a really cute Thanksgiving little sign. This is where I'm going to have to be a little bit more forceful. Really forceful. Oh, heavens. Do what you have to do. And in finding my little Thanksgiving sign, I thought, how do I want to do that to add it to my vase? And in this instant, we're going to turn the vase around from this side to this side. I added a little skewer, wooden skewer to the back, wrapped the actual wiring that was on here to hang on a wall, wrapped around my stick, and that's what I'm going to use to anchor into my vase, so that way my little sign stays. Ta-da! There we go. That works. And actually, I'll backtrack here. I should have just moved, twirled around my piece here. There. Just kind of adjust my pumpkins, my pine cones, so it looks pretty. I really love doing this stuff. It's so fun. And it's whatever your imagination can conjure up. Again, this is all stuff I had at home and didn't even have to go out and really buy anything. What do you think? Not too shabby? There, these little guys, you can either add to it or not, but now you got yourself a little Thanksgiving bouquet. Enjoy! And here we are again, and now that our fall season has been finishing up, and we're going to go to probably my most favorite holiday is Christmas. Again, we're using the same vase. I do like this arrangement a whole bunch. So, in order to preserve this without having to redo the whole thing, just pick up the bunch, and in a vase it goes. Probably put a plastic bag over the top, tie it off, and it'll be ready for the next season. And even this little guy, you can plop that in there. That was a fun one, definitely. So, back to being thankful. I'm thankful for having the opportunity to do this and share with you. Again, what do you have on hand? What can you repurpose? And a lot of us have Christmas decorations, I dare say. Even if you have to take something old apart and use it as your supplies of fun stuff to recreate. So with this, again, because it's transitional, it's not going to be in there permanently. So I put in my fillers, which is just 3 of these little fir boughs. And I'm going to put the little one in the front. Okay. And then, when you have these, it's a good idea to fluff them out some, because then it gives you the shape that you want. And these are usually in graduated heights and stuff, so they're doing some of the work for you. Plop that right in the middle. And that's our ivy and berries. And then what I'm going to do is, I mean, you could actually take this and plop it in there and rearrange it, or if that doesn't work for you for some reason, you could actually cut everything and place it where you want it, more or less. But I think this is a pretty good size poinsettia piece to put in here. So let's see what that looks like. I'm gonna kind of put it in the middle of my ivies. Plop it down. There. Let's see what we have. And this is where you do some adjustments. Just kind of spread things out. I want some height, so the longer poinsettia stems I'm going to center, shorter ones to the side and to the back. And at any time, feel free to adjust this thing to the way you want it to look. I try to give it an even contour, unless there's a specific reason why you wanted it more one-sided than other, but can. It's got some pretty little gold seeds in the middle, and I like that because it's so easy to give your centerpiece a punch when you've got gold accents. So I'm going to, I've got these little gold leafy, I believe these are ivies, and I'm going to plop these at the base. And there's 5 of them, odd numbers, that's always a good thing. And I don't want to hide the front of this vase, so kind of leave the front opened. So these little ivy sticks here help to pop out the gold that's in the flowers and stuff. And then a little bit more, because my centers to the poinsettias, it's almost like I want to say some glitter, sparkles to it. Just glitter on this. So again, I could cut them and place them, or the speedier way is to just again plop them in here, and that just gives it that little extra punch of sparkle without overwhelming it, but it's pretty. And a little bit more gold, smaller stuff. Again, place that in the middle. So you've got a little bit of gold from the base to the middle to the top. It's got the flowers themselves with the little gold sparkles in it. I think this is a pretty good balance of material in there, unless you really want to go for the gusto and even add this. These are a little bit more velvety over here versus there, so maybe you wouldn't want to, but you could. I mean, it's not that far off in the look that it would clash too much. And one of my favorite things ever is my pine cones. And even though personally I would add pine cones to this, but some people think I go over the top with my pine cones. But this is pretty, and I think we've got a nice display here going. Let me give it a last look. Balance that out a little bit more. And it's a visual thing. If it's pleasing to the eyesight, you're probably got a good thing going. And ta-da! You could even replace this bowl with something with a little accent of gold in it, if you'd like to keep up to the whole accent of gold in it, or you could leave it that way, considering it is a pretty neutral base and stuff, and it's got that little bit of a country look. Of course, don't forget to take off price tags. Oops. Not cool with trying to get something to look pretty, but there you go. One more look to our beautiful base vase that you can enjoy looking at, and then just the whole total package. Until spring comes, then it's a whole new thing, or even better, Valentine's Day. Beautiful. C'est bon? Thanks.